Welcome back to some new petty revenge stories, where people share small victories over those that wronged them. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Security Pettiness. I'm a guard for a distribution center. Security is responsible for checking in trucks and getting a door. I have 2 lanes. Trucks pile into both, and I can, with another guard, check in 2 trucks at once. I finish checking in 1 truck. The other guard finishes his. Receiving clerk gave us doors for both at once. The other guard has to go do something else, so I'm left to give them docking instructions and send them off. I just walk to the truck closest to me, and halfway through my spiel, I get interrupted by an air horn. I ignore it and carry on, and then can barely hear yelling over the 4 diesel engines running nearby. The other truck driver who honked was going on about he had been here first. He had, by about 3 minutes. And that he should be sent off first, and started arguing with me before I even got up to his cab. I just tell him he can wait and to be quiet while I give him the docking instructions. He finally does, and I sent him off. I went back into my box, called the lumpers and told him to unload his trailer extra slowly. He was among the last to leave today. The next story is called Terrible Passenger. I used to work in a cab, and a rather unpleasant guy sat down with me, and the final address was quite non-standard, so I easily remembered it. All the way he was changing, asking somewhere to stop, and when I explained that no, I cannot, he starts shouting, insulting me, etc. And then, on the way to his address, we picked up some girl. I thought it was his girlfriend. In the end, when we arrived, he refused to pay and threw some hurtful words. I let it go and forgot. I thought, what stuff happens, and why get upset? But 3 days later, I got an order for the same address. I thought it was just a coincidence, and it could not be him again, because the city is very large, and such a coincidence is unlikely. And so I sat down. A very nice polite girl sat down, and almost the entire trip arguing with her boyfriend on the phone. When she was done talking, she turned to me and said, "Why are all men such jerks? I try for him, and he can't even get a job." And at this point, I tell her that I recently drove a very unpleasant guy to this address. As she heard it, she said his name. I realized that it was him, because on the first trip, when that girl got in the car, she said his name. And what do you think? I told this girl everything. That her boyfriend was driving with another girl to their house. He didn't have any sisters or girlfriends, like his girlfriend said. So we decided to check it out. We exchanged contacts, and I met her a few days later. She told her boyfriend she was going to be late or not coming at all. In the meantime, we were standing outside her house for about 4 hours waiting to see if anyone was coming to see him. And guess what? The same girl who was driving with him showed up. You should have seen the anger and disappointment on that girl's face when she saw it. But I was glad I had taught him a lesson and helped the girl finally realize what a jerk her boyfriend was. The third story is called A Mild Inconvenience. I'm a relatively young female working as a semi-truck driver. I work for a contractor within a large mail carrier. As part of my job, I have my doubles endorsement, which means I often hold 2 short trailers rather than 1 long one. There's a piece of equipment that connects the rear trailer to the front trailer, called a trailer dolly. It's essentially a trailer axle with 4 wheels and weighs upwards of 2,000 pounds. You can push them by hand, but any kind of hill makes it really difficult without hooking up to equipment first. I had some scheduling conflicts with my last job due to childcare issues, and had worked out a resolution that included taking weekend shifts for the guys that wanted those weekend days off anyway. My boss fired me the night before my first shift off and waited until the end of the day to tell me that. He also insisted that I would need him as a reference for a future job if I wanted any chance of being rehired. However, I called some other contractors and was in a truck within 2 days. I happily waved at my old boss when I saw him. It was fantastic. My new job is great. Here's where the petty revenge comes in. I'm still giggling about it. Something to note with my old company is that they are local city drivers. This means that they only ever haul 1 trailer at a time, so none of their drivers are required to have doubles endorsements, including the boss and his wife. They also are the only company that doesn't park their trucks in the bobtail lot, but actually parks back where the empty trailers park. Our lot has been under construction lately, and because of that, people have been leaving equipment out everywhere. One day, I have to start my route with an empty trailer, and the only ones available happen to be parked back where my old company parks. and I found the nicest one available. The problem was that someone left a dolly right in the way, so I couldn't swing hard enough to not sideswipe a trailer or hit the dolly. I did what I had to do and pushed that dolly a bit uphill 20 feet back, so I could just barely swing the corner. That just happened to be directly in front of my old boss's nice Cadillac he had parked for the day for work. He is not legally allowed to touch, lift or otherwise move one, since he doesn't have his endorsement or training. I smiled knowing he would have dropped his last trailer for the day and drove all the way to the back of the lot to park, only to have to turn around and go back to the shop. The guys that only move trailers around the yard are also not allowed to move dollies for the same reason. Anyways, maybe I can't really get back at them, but hey, at least I can make the end of his day slightly more annoying. The next story is called A Petite Bully. I used to work in the business office of a huge medical clinic. There was one girl who was the manager's secretary. She was really petite, very pretty and a little southern belle. She was the darling of the office, but she was a bully. She made fun of everyone who was overweight, to their faces, in front of everyone. I had just had my daughter, and she was relentless when I went to McDonald's for lunch one day. "You should have gotten a salad for crying out loud, Piggy." Because she was the prima donna in the office and the head of HR was her mom's BFF, nothing ever happened to her. Fast forward years later. I took my nephew to her birthday party this weekend. She was there with her 3 kids. Turns out that 5 marriages and 3 kids have not been good to her. She is pushing 300 pounds on her 5'3" frame. Those good looks up and left a decade or 2 ago. She saw me and her jaw dropped. She said in the fakest voice and smile she could muster, "You look so pretty. I had no idea you were that pretty. You are so tiny." I just smiled and said, "Yeah, I know," and walked away. I got immense satisfaction watching this bully rattling around in the heat. Not saying anything else to her the whole day was really making her uncomfortable. The last story is called Close Revenge. I lived in downtown Denver for a few years in a big tall building on the south side of the city. Maybe 5 blocks from the Capitol building. We had shared laundry, and though there were 100 plus residents, there were few issues with the laundry room. Enter the new entitled move-ins, who were rude to me in the laundry room as I had the last free washer. I made sure to come switch out my wash as soon as it was done, but maybe missed the done beep by 5 minutes. I come into the laundry room and my clean clothes were on the floor, sopping wet. This was a Saturday morning. I made sure to take the plug out of the washer they used, mid-wash, causing the door to auto-lock. It remained locked with no electrical component to unlock it until maintenance came in Monday and called a plumber. I kept the cord just in case I needed an extra one day. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.